I guess. Hey, welcome back to another edition of Ego on Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman Logan Creed, and yes, my chair is raised higher than he is.
Yeah, I'm just sunk down. Sorry, long day.
So yeah, I'm pulling a Tony Schiavone. I gotta have my chair up.
I'm just tired.
Yep. So before we get started, I want to talk about our Sheik passing.
Yep.
That was huge news that just broke.
Yeah.
Got a Sheiky baby memory.
A lot of it has to do with cussing. We don't cuss too much on here, so he liked to cuss out Hulk Hogan, and evidently he legitimately did not like Hogan before he passed away.
I don't know if he
read a
didn't
thing
like
on
him
Instagram, and like his whole Instagram and Twitter were all like "F you Hogan,"
Yeah,
F this
it's
Hogan.
crazy.
I thought you were effer in the ring, but it turned out you were effer in real life too. And I'm like, wow.
I wonder what happened there. Like,
supposedly it was like Hogan offered to use him for this show, like when he had the Hogan Knows Best. And they did have like a pool party one time and had a bunch of the older guys. And he's like, I never got called. He goes, Hogan lied to me every time I saw him. So I don't know. That's what he's
working the gimmick.
Yeah.
And the gimmick got him worked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
My favorite memory is just him doing the Persian clubs. Like when I first think about him, that's the guy. That's what I think of.
That was cool.
Just you never saw that kind of thing, and then he was doing it. And of course, I was younger, but as I got older, going back viewing some of the stuff with him and Slaughter, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, their street fight was really good.
Yep, they had a lot of things, and I think the thing I remember the most is just he had the pointy boots.
And he had to get them like specially made.
Yeah, I think
he had
so.
to get like multiple people. And like one guy's like, I can do that. And he's like, really? He's like, man, everybody else has been saying they can't do it.
But I watched a couple matches today, or when I say watched, I glanced at, listened to, and drove. I try not to watch my phone, but I like to listen to it. I didn't get to see a lot of the match itself, but it was an AWA match where he was wrestling under his real name. He's babyface.
Yeah.
And it's like Ali.
He's real skinny, compared to what he was.
Verzari or something like that. And they were putting over how he was like this Iranian champion, this
bodyguard,
head coach for the USA Olympic team, and all there was really building him as a babyface. And it was pretty cool to see just that side of him. I'd never watched it, so that was pretty sharp, just seeing that. So,
and he was a big time family man. That part really surprised me when I finally saw a little bit of the documentary.
Yeah, there is a documentary, an Irish Sheik documentary. It's good. I've seen it. It's been a few years back since I've seen it. But I remember it being really good.
It was really good. Showed his wife. His wife was really attractive. I think she was a little bit younger than him, but hey, whatever. He got her. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe the same age, but his life might have been a little rougher than hers.
Well, he did beat the crap out of himself with wrestling,
Yeah. So overall, really cool.
And,
about that.
Him and Nikolai in WWF.
Yeah. Not cool that he passed, but cool of the legacy that he left as he passed. I hope some of the things from his younger career overshadow some of the stuff he did later in life. I hate that he's going to be remembered just for this vulgar old man when in reality dude did a ton of stuff.
He was on Jerry Springer.
Yeah, he was. I remember that.
He did a bunch of stuff, man.
So it's just cool that he was able to live the life he lived and lived it to the fullest.
I remember he did a shoot promo, and it was him and New Jack and like maybe Sandman, but it was like this obscure three-way of a promo, and I mean it got pretty rough. But I'm just saying, it's just these three guys, and you're like, what the hell do these have in common? Well, they can cuss. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they have in common. They get views. They're controversial. That's That's what they had in common. Yes, so definitely thoughts, prayers out to his family. So we had the Scott County SmackDown event.
Yes.
We shot a big Ego on Break promoting that.
Yeah.
And it was, we thought we had a guy from Australia locked in. Yeah. Shot the whole thing about him, and then he didn't, he backed out. He gave me plenty of notice to back out. It was just, he was doing a tour of the U.S., but he was mainly on the West Coast, and he said it just wasn't feasible to make it, from California to Mississippi and then back to California. So, but the cool thing is we made a connection in Australia. So,
good day.
if anybody wants to, take a trip, maybe go on vacation while you're on vacation and wrestle. I'm making line you up with that.
Kangaroos and wrestling.
So that was pretty cool. He was a nice guy, and I had wrote a promo and thing or a back bio on him and that kind of thing, and sent it to him, and that's when he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." Like, but so that's why that didn't get put out.
I say I would have a koala and a kangaroo come to the ring with me.
Yeah, I'm getting out
and a
back
big
Jack.
hat. And even a knife, even though you can't use a knife just because the line.
So you're gonna be
that's
out
not a
back
knife,
Jack.
That's
That's
a
what
knife.
you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
I think that's been done. I don't think it worked very
No
well.
top roach required.
But the event was a huge success. I was speaking into existence 1,000 people. Well, we didn't get 1,000 people, but I don't think anybody was surprised. We did have close to 400 people. So for a local show, it was pretty good.
Yes.
I'm very proud of the crowd. Worked our butts off to get that crowd, and everybody seemed to be really happy. Downside of running events in places you're not really familiar with, the building had air conditioned, so that was great.
Oh, it did have air conditioning?
However, out of the 4 units that it had, only one worked. So it stayed a nice, cool, crisp, like 95 degrees, 100 degrees in there all night. Sweat was prevalent.
So kind of like when I did Kosciuszko in a little school gym and we
Yep.
all sweated our, what
Yeah,
off.
I mean, it had air.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, 90% of the air did not work. Well, 75% of the air did not work. So it was just cool enough in there to breathe, but not cool enough in there not to sweat.
So you could advertise air and it wouldn't have been a lie.
Right, it did have
So,
air. However,
just not enough.
a rarity for us is the locker room had air, and it worked, and it was nice.
Wow.
We kept that door shut. So although you died in the ring, it wasn't bad.
Well,
in
you
the
walked
locker room.
outside sweating and walked back to the bathroom
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, thank
cold,
God.
yeah. So it was a little relief after your match to
that's
have air in the
nice.
locker room. Going over the card, we opened up. It was a little different than what we originally advertised by 2 matches.
When I saw the results, I'm like, this isn't what we talked about.
Yeah, we had a cancellation. John Davis had some travel issues and was not able to make it.
That's why I didn't make it, because this thing right here.
Yeah. So, but to get to the matches,
Yeah.
Lucha Licord defeated the Kenway in the opener, and this was a really good match. The Kenway is former Matt Kenway. He's been in Pro Wrestling Ego a good bit over the years, and now he is part of the hierarchy in Southern Honor Wrestling, and so he is the Kenway.
Sweet.
And Lucha defeated him with a modified cutter. It's catch him in the neck, pick him up, like around. Basically, picks him up. Their legs go around his waist, so he has them like on his hips and thighs, and he thrusts their body out and turns with the cutter.
Oh, I've seen that.
It's
I know what
very
you're talking
cool
about, yeah.
move, very innovative.
They lose to Mexico a good bit.
Yeah. So that was pretty sharp. Then we had Lindsay Snow defending her IWE Women's Championship against Angelica Risk, and this was a wild brawl that went through chairs, up against the building, up against the brick, chair shots, a big splash onto the chairs, and just craziness. Wild brawl.
Did the one girl look like Luna Vachon, or was that just me?
That's Lindsay Snow. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure who was who. That's why I was wanting to ask you.
And
I saw her, I was like, Luna's dead. I was like, why does this chick look just like her almost?
Lindsay is a legit butt kicker.
Yeah.
Trains in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and has done like blood sport and death matches and all that kind of stuff. And her finish is like this rolling leg lock submission, and it's like a jiu-jitsu move.
Was that the finish?
And that was the finisher. So she made Angelica tap out.
So the other girl gave as good as she got to?
Yeah, she was, both were relatively short, which I don't know, just kind of surprised me. But both put hard work in, beat the crap out of each other. I mean, there was some licks passed that made the guys go, ooh, like. So there were definitely some steel shots in that match.
I look forward to seeing that thing.
Then we got another debut. So Lindsay and Angelica both were debuts that had not been in Ego before. Lucha and Kenway both had been there. So next up was Denzel Rollins. He was made his debut against Wes Warren, and unfortunately for him, he drew Wes Warren in his debut match, and he put the work in. Mid-South submission specialist is what Denzel's known as. and it was a back and forth match. It was really hard hitting, but unfortunately Wes was victorious, or unfortunately for Denzel. You know, I say unfortunately because Wes is cold blooded. You know, who likes Wes? Nobody likes Wes.
I like Wes.
Wes is warm blooded. Don't say that; he'll get angry and chase you around the building.
I'll just give him a hug. He'll be all right.
Then we had Muddy Waters, RJW, and Geo Savage. They took on Big Ramp International, which was Crimson Tiger and Dylan Scott. And this match was solid. Big Ramp shows why he's one of the top managers in the South, and he brought in some, championship caliber talent. Big Ramp is Big Ramp. Him and the crowd, I think, had more fights than him and the guys in the ring. But overall, Muddy Waters defeated Big Ramp International.
Nice.
It used to be like Big Ramp Incorporated or something like that, but I guess he's went
changed it
worldwide.
like 3 times
So
I can remember. So.
I think I changed it 3 times in introducing them. So,
like legit, yeah.
But a solid match for sure.
Because you used to always say we got to do better.
Yeah, and Muddy Waters is definitely showing why they are, building a reputation in the South. Yeah. So,
I saw somebody put up a thing the other day, and it said a dream match, and it was them versus the Von Erichs.
Yeah, it was like it was like a WoW page or something like that.
I thought that was pretty cool though that they got mentioned in the same.
Yeah. Probably the match I was most excited for is coming up next, and that was the semi-main event of the evening. August Artois, he's real, he's raw, he's August Artois versus Mr. Vroom Vroom, Eddie Martinez, the Power Glider. Both of these guys come out swinging, fast-paced action, hard-hitting. Really lived up to exactly what I thought it was going to live up to. So probably, for me, match of the night. Several fans have said match of the night. So I think it's kind of a toss-up between them and maybe the women's match from what the fans seem to enjoy the most.
Sounds good.
But August defeated Eddie with a like a modified flipping neck breaker onto his knee kind of thing, suplex thing.
Was it from a fireman's carry?
No, it was kind of like the move Road Dogg used to do. What is that? The gut wrench?
Yes.
Okay, so kind of similar to that. He hooks a leg.
Pump handle.
Yeah, pump handle. That's the word I was looking for. So like a pump handle suplex into a neck breaker.
I got you. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Pretty dang vicious. So I enjoyed that. Eddie is a fighter. I thought several times he should have been beat, and he found the strength to kick out. He definitely brought it to August as much as August brought it to Eddie. Maybe that's something we get to see down the line again. So I was pretty excited for that. And then the Mississippi title match, J.D. Jenkins took on Mike Carter. The Dog Pound Gang or JYD Gang or whatever he calls his fans were in full support as it was crazy. They were all chanting JYD, JYD. And
I've been in the ring with him many times.
Yeah, so... And I loved it because you could kind of tell the fans who knew who people were versus the fans who didn't.
Yeah.
And there was a group of kids sitting up in the first row of the bleachers. And so the crowd was chanting, JYD, JYD. And I don't know if just they wasn't making out. They were young kids making out what they were saying or what, but they were chanting, J White T, J White T. Because he had like the JYD white t-shirt on, and I died.
Like Jay's white tee, huh?
I mean, it was so funny because, but they were full, supporting Jay White tee. So.
Sweet.
Well, but it kind of tickled me and made my night. And this was a pretty good match. A lot of crowd involvement, and it was going really good. JYD hit, or JYD Jr. Mike Carter. He hit J.D. Jenkins to me, JD's in there.
I just say Mike Carter.
Yeah, Mike and J.D. hit J.D. with the thump. And as soon as he did, bam, August Artois was on him. I don't know if they've got, some beef from the past or if something happened in the locker room or if August was just out there to make a statement. Maybe August felt like his match should have been the main event. Was not happy about it. Attacked them. The whole locker room cleared out. Man, we had fights all over the building. They did not come to break up the fight. They came to continue the fight.
Sweet.
So it was a big brawl. Place going crazy. Pretty good environment. Pretty good experience from the fans. definitely got their money's worth, and I think there's a lot of
So you think
questions that
if,
don't have answers yet that's going to come out of
back
that.
here, you think you'd do more?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think the crowd would probably appreciate it more if it was in the fall and not the summer,
or if some more of the air conditioners worked,
or if the air conditioners worked. But overall, I hadn't really got any bad feedback. We did have some people leave early, but from what we got, it was just because it was hot. It wasn't anything to do with the action.
Those, man.
So they were like, "Hey, we really enjoyed it, but an hour and a half is our limit."
On shows, man, but you'd be ready to die by the time of them 9-hour shows.
Yeah. But we like I said, we had several debuts. Eddie in August they were brand new to Ego fans. Crimson Tiger and Dylan Scott was brand new. Denzel Rollins was brand new. In theory, Muddy Waters is brand new. I don't think they've been to Ego yet. I think RJW's had a couple of Ego matches. I think Gio's had a couple matches. But as a tag team, they have not. I don't think they've had any tag matches in Ego.
He is the only ones I can think of.
Yeah, Denzel Rollins again, his debut, and Angelica Rios and Lindsay Snow their debut. So it was really a brand new Ego locker room for the most part. We had referee Obama there, then we had Eddie Irons, and we had another referee. He refereed the ladies match. He was sent by IWE, and I forget his name, but I think it was like Aiden Pierce, maybe was his name. He was a nice guy. He really did. You could tell he was probably young in his referee career, but seemed to be a hard worker. He's way understood it. He's training at the Nightmare Factory.
Did he take heat away from any of the matches?
No, I don't think so.
He did a good job.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like I say, I think he's training at the Nightmare Factory, so it was pretty cool to meet him.
As well as I do. Being a ref, your job is to blend, not steal spotlight.
Right.
I hate when a referee steals spotlight.
Yeah, I mean he watched the hard cam good, try to keep his butt out of the camera.
God, I hate that.
Overall, man, it was a solid night. Really enjoyed it. We are working on the video. We have 2 edited. We're having some issues getting them from editor to uploader. So they sent 2 matches to me, but unfortunately, I guess my phone just doesn't have the capability to download it, so that I can re-upload it. So I've got to get my kids to log on with their stuff and do it, because I'm computer illiterate.
Yeah, I'm a little better than I was, but I still ain't that good.
Right. But overall, man, I couldn't be happier. Like I said, the crowd is going to grow, I hope. I don't know how often we're going to get to do these. Ego's not back full time. We have one more planned, maybe 2 more planned for this year. We're going to be at 3 to 4 times a year, maybe 1 to 4 times a year promotion.
Are you going to at least try to do the Great Southern Eight?
Yes, I am talking with the good folks at EPW in Boonville about hosting it. So the Great Southern Eight should be there if everything goes well. Both parties are in agreement that they want to do it. We just got to get those fine details. Yes. We are planning on, for the first time, streaming it through the through Powers. What is it? Pro Wrestling TV? No. IWTV.
There's so many.
IWTV used to be like Powerbomb TV or something like that. But IWTV is a subscription service, so hopefully this goes on, pay-per-view. So looking forward to that.
The 11th or 10th?
Man, I lost count after COVID. COVID got so screwed up because we had some planned. They got canceled. I would have to go back and count, but I think it's the 12th year, maybe.
Somewhere in there, I can't remember.
Yeah. So
I've missed one.
All right. So first winner was Kyle Matthews, then Sugar Dunkerton, Christian Blake, Nightmare Jeremiah, John Davis, Ray Fury, Josie Quinn, Wes Warren, Vladimir Koloff, Chase Adams. Trace 11. So this will be the 12th year. So COVID Kid, he has a win somewhere in there for 1 year that COVID defeated us.
Defeated everybody, man.
So 13th year of it, 12th match. Yeah. Because one whole event got canceled due to COVID.
Yep.
So sad times. But look for that. That should be like that first weekend in November. So if everything works out right, and in Boonville, they have television. So through NBC there in the Tupelo area.
So that's real. Okay,
yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not
I think it hit
there.
like 55,000 households or something.
That's
so
cool.
yeah, big step up for us. So looking forward to that. EPW puts on great events. Really happy to be associated with them. They've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know the history on like independent companies that are running now and how long they've been running, but I know there's 3 or 4 in the state that's been around for a long time, and EPW is definitely one of those.
Back in the day, they used to have a little bit of camaraderie with Danny because he would have a few guys. I wrestled a couple of guys from there.
Yep. I remember like Bone Crusher and
wasn't one guy like the Flamingo Kid or something? That's
something
the guy
like that.
I wrestled that I remember.
So yeah, a few of those guys.
And he was green as grass when I wrestled him. So,
but overall,
I think
pretty
that's
excited about
Bone
that.
Crusher's son, maybe.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But overall, looking forward to everything that's coming up. Hopefully, there may be something coming up with working with Just Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a couple of seasons on IWTV already, and they're going to start. They've been based out of Florida the last 2 seasons. I think Just Wrestling 3 is going to take place here in Mississippi. Us, along with Wrestling Over Everything, is going to be helping with that. So if you'd like to be a part of Just Wrestling, message myself or Wrestling Over Everything or the guys at Just Wrestling if you're here in Mississippi or local to the area and want to get involved with that. Let us know. That's going to be coming up in October.
That's cool.
So pretty excited. Got a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah. I want to push one thing just because he's one of our guys, but Ray Fury, July 3rd, I believe, in Vicksburg, faces Matt Taven.
Yep, for Bayou Independent Wrestling. Bayou is, again, we love Bayou, love those guys. So, yeah, Fury versus Matt Taven.
They got a big old billboard, man. I was like, I'm proud of it. That's
pretty
cool.
awesome for sure. Yep, so check that out, and until next time,
Watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling.